appreciate everybody. First things first. So we're gonna dive straight into everything today. If you guys are new to the seminar today, what we do here is we kind of come together to cipher between each other. Me and along with my special guests of Derek and Andre. We kind of just cipher and go. We have specific topics that we dive into for you guys, and ultimately we come on here with a message. We come on here with answers. We come on here with clarity. We want to be able to provide some type of substance to people to be able to actually take home and actually be able to apply into your life, because a lot of people, we hear so many different things, but we don't know how to actually break it down. We don't know how to get to the root of what's going on, and we don't even know what to actually believe. So on this call today, make sure you guys are fully attentive. I like to say, put your phone away so that way you can actually give your undivided attention for the next 30 to 45 minutes, because you might hear something that you didn't hear before. And because you wasn't actually paying attention, you might have missed out on the concept and the message behind what was being spit at you. And the next thing is, grab yourself a pen and paper, take some type of notes. Because at the end of the day, 90% of the things that we're going to go over, you're not going to actually be able to remember if you're not taking some type of notes to grasp the information. So do yourself a favor, take some notes. And with that being said, I'm feeling good and I'm ready to dive into everything, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and unmute Derek so he could dive into his sauce that he wanted to give y'all today. I know that right now this is gonna be a good topic. I know for a fact this is gonna be a good topic. So make sure y'all in tune. Let's get into it.
Yes, sir. Let's get into it, man. Peace and high vibes, y'all. Definitely wishing high vibes, because it's some crazy energy. I'm not gonna say crazy. I don't like that connotation. It's some divine energy we in right now, but it's some crazy things going on in the world. Feel me? So we gonna start off with this. I'm gonna ask y'all this question. Like, be active in the comments. Since the beginning of June, that first week of June, did y'all experience some sort of shift in energy, some sort of change in your life, some sort of drastic change, some shocking revelation? Because I know a lot of people, they came to realizations that they need to stop fucking with this person. People just dropped out of their life. Just a shift in their mindset, a shift in energy in that first week of June, right? Now, how I look at that now is that it was a super full moon. It was a super full moon that week, right? So a super full moon in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is truthful energy, being honest. I look at it like, now you being honest with yourself. You know what I'm saying? You being honest with yourself. So some things had to come to light. But also just a simple fact that we're in, I'll get to that afterwards. I'm gonna get the main idea out now. Personally, I believe we have genuinely shifted timelines, right? We have genuinely shifted timelines. Now, first, you got to understand what time is to truly understand what I mean. Because I feel like that's something that gets said a lot, but a lot of people might not really have the true understanding of what that means. And it's not just a you control your own reality, you control your own timeline type of thing. No, the world has shifted timelines, right? So to understand what I mean, first you got to understand that time is not linear, right? Time is not linear. We've been programmed since we was in elementary school that time is just a straight line that just keeps on going in one direction with one point here, 1865, 1942, 1992, et cetera, et cetera. But that's not how time is, right? Now, let me take y'all to the whiteboard. Feel me? We on our teacher shit. Right? So this is what I believe time actually looks like. It's a never-ending spiral, but you can't tell which direction it's going in because it's not going in any direction. Everything exists all at once. Fibonacci sequence. Okay, yeah. Let me not get knocked off. But yeah, so people looking at this, you might think like, okay, this might be the beginning of time. But how do you know I didn't start right here? Feel me? I definitely could have started right here, but you're going to think this is the beginning of time. Feel me? It all exists all at once. So what you think might have happened here, first of all, what is time? All right, because you got to break down the connotations of these words. Time is just a unit of measurement to measure the sequence of events that is reality. Okay, so the spiral of life is just a sequence of events. So what happened at this point was probably, we'll say, the Big Bang, right? This is the first event that we could perceive in this sequence of events. You feel me? But if you zoom in, you realize, okay, maybe I could expand the spiral. Maybe the spiral would go further. Maybe there's more that we hadn't seen. Can I say what time is again? Time is just a unit of measurement, right? So we use time just like we use inches, feet, meters, et cetera, et cetera. All right, we just use it so we can measure the sequence of events that we're perceiving, because we are conscious in reality right now in the 3D world. So we want to be able to understand and better grasp, and our minds is just going to naturally do that. So we're going to have something so we can grasp when something happened relative to when something else happened. You feel me? So 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week, 1 year, 1 month, all of it is just a unit of measurement to measure this sequence of events. Feel me? So we think that, like I said, we think that this was the beginning of time, et cetera, but in reality, it all is happening all at once. You feel what I'm saying? Drop threes, right? 3 means understanding. Drop threes in the chat if this is making sense. All right, bet. So now that we get that, this is what the multiverse looks like, because this is just one universe. This is just one universe. But now here we have a second universe, because this is what the multiverse actually is. It's a whole bunch of universes overlapping each other with everything happening all at once, independent of what's going on in the other universe. Feel me? So one universe here, one universe there. And now this is why, like, we really be giving y'all homework on these calls. We be giving y'all journal prompts. We be giving y'all questions. Y'all have to start watching these movies. They always tell you the truth. Like, we know this, but y'all gotta watch these movies. They tell you the truth in these movies, and they always telling you what's going on. So the movies that have been dropping within this month, Across the Spider-Verse, right? Transformers, that one's more so about an alien invasion and unity consciousness. But Across the Spider-Verse, diving into the multiverse and how your consciousness can exist in any shape or form in multiple different beings, in multiple different characters across all universes, right? So for example, in Across the Spider-Verse, the soul, the energy is Spider-Man, right? It is just Spider-Man. But in universe 1636, Spider-Man is animating Miles Morales. In universe 300, Spider-Man is animating Gwen Stacy. And so on and so forth. Now, that's just 2 people, but when you watch the movie, you see, like, okay, Spider-Man exists as a horse, exists in the Lego universe, exists here, there, everywhere, as all things, as infinite possibility, right? So y'all have to watch Across the Spider-Verse, and y'all have to watch The Flash, because this is what really sparked my mind when it comes to this. I was doing this for like an hour yesterday. So basically in The Flash, if you don't already know, he goes back in time to change something. And ultimately, we think when you go back in time, right? And they showed us this in Doctor Strange, the first Doctor Strange movie, misleading ass niggas. They showed us that when you go back in time, when you change something in time, ultimately it'll look like this. This is our timeline. But when you change something, you start a branch. No, that's not how it is. All right, that's not how it is. What you think is a branch is a timeline that had already existed. So back to this. This board or this universe has its own independent events, has its own things going on. But because everything is interconnected, when these paths cross, when these inevitable intersections happen, this is what you would consider as fate. Because we're in whatever universe, when these timelines cross, this happens every single time, however it has to happen. Drop threes if you see what I'm saying, if you understand. Repeat that, please. All right, I'll say it again one more time. All right, so here, I'll use the theory that they used in the Flash, okay? So look at the universe, look at the multiverse as a bowl of noodles, right? One independent noodle is its own timeline, is its own reality. But when you drop it in a bowl with a whole bunch of other timelines going on all at once, these noodles are bound to overlap each other. They're bound to intersect each other. Because it's always bound to happen no matter how you arrange it, you can consider that an inevitable intersection, and it's just fated to happen. Does that make sense? Yes. So what this would represent, right? Because breaking off from the noodle analogy, this is one universe, this is one reality, this is one timeline, and this is another one. So because this is going on while this is going on, paths are bound to intersect where they're bound to intersect, okay? They're bound to intersect each other, and that is considered fate. Because at this point in time, there's no number, there's no amount, all right? It's an infinite possibility. Feel me? There's infinite possibilities. So because this is what you would consider fate, because in every timeline, with whatever's going on, with whatever you choose, this is inevitable. This is bound to happen every single time. Whatever you do in between these fated moments, right? This is one fated moment. This is another one. This right here is what you would consider free will. This gap of time right here is what you would consider free will. You have the free will to experience life however you choose to. But once you get to this point where the timelines cross again, whatever is meant to happen right here will always happen. So the example I use is if somebody is meant to die at the age of 29, right? If somebody is meant to die at the age of 29, say in this reality, in our world, they die via car crash. But in another world, say they might be scared of cars, right? Say they might be scared of cars, so they don't want to drive that much. But their fate is still to die at the age of 29. Now they die from a lightning strike. Or in another universe, they don't go outside that much. You know what I'm saying? Now, even though they don't go outside that much, they might not be behind the wheel of a car. They're still fated to die at the age of 29. So however it has to happen, it's gonna happen. Feel me? So I wanted to explain that first, because that is it's a very deep concept, and it makes a lot of sense. And I'm seeing a lot of people say that they understand what I'm saying. So I know I'm not tripping when I say this either. But say all that to say, I think we've entered an alternate timeline at the beginning of this month. Now, when you understand the astrology behind it, Gemini is a mutable sign. What are mutable signs? Mutable signs are the signs most susceptible to changing themselves, right? Most adaptable, right? Because mutable signs fall at the end of the season when the weather is changing and we're changing from the season of spring to summer. Also, Gemini is the first mutable sign in the astrological year. So I feel as if, and they use the full moon, they use that week to do it, because that is when the energy is heightened during this cycle, during this season, during Gemini season. So that first week of June, I genuinely believe, however they did it, whatever they had to do, they shifted timelines for whatever reason. Now, just to theorize, right? Just to theorize, I think it was because if you look at the movies and what they keep on talking about, it genuinely might be because of an alien invasion, right? Watch the movies, you'll know what I mean. But something, like I said, if something's inevitable to happen, then it's inevitable, right? Now, that's just one theory. I don't feel like diving too deep into that. I want to stay on point when it comes to just the fact that we really shifted timelines. Now, once again, understanding the astrology behind it, Gemini, right? Also, just the energy that we're in for this month, period, is very, very powerful. We just had the summer solstice yesterday, but not just the summer solstice. If you don't know what the summer solstice is, it's when the sun is at the highest point in the sky. So the days are longest and the nights are shortest, right? So, and yeah, they've been talking about seeing UFOs. You see, what's it called? That shit that happened in Vegas. I don't know if it was a distraction or not. And ultimately, let me get into this. I think they're truly distracting the fuck out of us this month. Why? Because Gemini is one of the most intelligent signs. So if you got too much going on, which is kind of Gemini energy in the first place, because it's ruled by the nervous system, if you got too much going on, then people can't focus. Now, this is why I think that submarine bullshit happened. All these distractions are popping up right now because they're fucking desperate, okay? The planet is awakening. Why is the planet awakening? Because the people are awakening, okay? We give energy to the planet. Watch the Eternals, okay? That movie basically symbolizes when the Kundalini energy of the people rises, then the planet will awaken and birth Tiamat, a celestial being. If you're familiar with Rashad Jamal or do your studying, you know that Tiamat is an ancient name for Earth, right? Now, I mentioned that to say, what did I say? The energy is rising. So just the other day, before all this submarine bullshit happened, right? Once again, when they want you to look one way, you have to wonder what's going on in the other direction. So they want you looking at the water, what's going on in the land. So we know that the Earth is alive. The Earth has a heartbeat, a pulse called the Schumann resonance. So in the Schumann resonance, in the heartbeat of the Earth, there was just an anomaly on Sunday, the day Saturn went retrograde into Pisces. Pisces is the most spiritual sign. So if there was an anomaly in the heartbeat of the Earth, understanding that energy alone, y'all, I hope y'all have been grounding this week. If you grounded that day, you might have felt something different. I know me personally, I didn't even know about the anomaly in the Schumann resonance, but when I grounded that day, I truly felt something different. It was energy that I typically didn't feel when I grounded. Now, I think for something like that to happen in the Schumann resonance, it must be because the planet is truly awakening, because the people are truly awakening. And that's why they are throwing all types of distractions at us at this very moment. And what's up with the red sun? That's some deep shit alone. Like, I don't know too much about it, but it's just, it's alignment. You know what I'm saying? It's alignment. When the red sun, when people kept seeing the red sun, around that same time is when there was the strawberry full moon. What is the strawberry moon? It's when the moon was in a super moon state and it was red. And they call it a strawberry moon because that's really the start of harvest season when it comes to strawberries, when you understand Native Americans. Now, people think it's Nibiru, the alien ship. Could be. I'm not too educated on Nibiru to really talk about it, but it's really something to think about and just look at everything that's going on right now. They really want people distracted because they see how much people are waking up and tapping in right now, let alone the energy that's going on. I haven't even gotten into the astrology, bro. I haven't even gotten into the astrology. Pluto, two very powerful planets just went retrograde recently, right? Two very powerful planets just went retrograde. So June 10th, Pluto went retrograde into Capricorn and Saturn went retrograde into Pisces. So when it comes to Saturn retrograde in Pisces, I can't really give too much of an interpretation on it right now. I don't really, feel me? I don't really got nothing on it. But Pluto retrograde in Capricorn, I can give you something. So for those who don't know, Pluto is the planet of transformation, death and rebirth, things that are hidden, power as well. And Capricorn, I'll just explain this for right now. I don't want to go too into depth, but Capricorn is the sign that is destined for success, the sign that is destined for achievement in the physical world. right? So Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. What is Saturn? Saturn is the planet of discipline. It's a disciplinarian type planet, right? It's the planet that'll teach you lessons, put obstacles on you in life. And to make that make sense, Saturn has its rings around it, right? That's what it's notorious for. So in life, Saturn places its rings around you for you to overcome and prove that whatever it is that you want, you deserve. So it's gonna make life hard on you. It's gonna teach you lessons. And for Capricorn, if you want to get to the top of the mountain, if you want to achieve, then you have to be disciplined to be successful. Feel me? Now, when it comes to the mountain analogy, when it comes to Capricorn energy, Capricorn is ruled by the sea goat, half fish, half goat. But because they're so focused on achieving in reality, they neglect that fish side, that emotional, that intuitive, that spiritual side, and more so just focus on the goat. And that goat, that mountain goat energy, nothing's stopping the mountain goat from getting to the top of the mountain. Feel me? And if nobody else, like Capricorn energy, if you're not on that same wave, if you're not on that same frequency, all right, nigga, just stay where you at the base of the mountain, motherfucker. I'm ascending this bitch. I'm gonna get to where I see myself going. So Capricorn energy is very persistent, very disciplined. Now, I look at Capricorn energy like it's the true opposite sign of Pisces, right? Because if you understand Pisces energy, Pisces is ruled by the fish of duality, right? One fish spirituality, one fish duality. Think about in Avatar, Princess Yue, right? If you watch the show Princess Yue, you know what I'm saying? Southern Water Tribe, Northern Water Tribe, actually. She was the moon spirit, but she ruled. Once they took away that fish, everything went to hell. That's because they basically represent yin and yang, and that's kind of what Pisces represents. But Pisces, they're more so in the spiritual. It can struggle to be in the physical. Just like how Capricorn, the animal that represents Capricorn energy, is a very dualistic animal. They can neglect that spiritual, but they're very focused on the physical. But if they focus on the spiritual and cultivate it, it's very powerful energy. Same with Pisces. You feel what I'm saying? So Pluto going retrograde, basically reversal type energy in Capricorn. Capricorn being a sign of materialism and achievement. So Pluto being back in this sign makes for the energy for a great transformation for whatever you want to achieve. Whatever mountain it is that you're climbing in reality, you can begin seeing progress in whatever it is. And with the discipline and persistence of a Capricorn, you can make your way up to the peak. Pluto is going to be retrograding here. Pluto is going to be retrograding here until the beginning of next year, right? So now we're in the second half. We're in the second half of 2023. 2023 is the year of the seven. What is seven? Spiritual growth, spiritual transformation. So now in this second half, you get to really, feel me? You get to really cultivate whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing spiritually. If you really on that path, if you really ascend into 5D, think about 5D consciousness like it's at the top of the mountain. Feel me? If you really on that path, now this second half of the year, it's probably going to be the toughest, but it's now you have the most to prove. You see what I'm saying? So that because Capricorn energy is dualistic, that's the physical reality side to it. Let's focus on what I think it really is going to be about, the spiritual side. Capricorn being ruled by the sea goat, there's duality within Capricorn. So I look at it like the energy of Capricorn is being reversed now. So it's now more so focused on the spiritual. So instead of neglecting the intuition and the emotional wounds, because Capricorn likes to act stern, you know what I'm saying? They like to be cool, have resting bitch face, try to act like they're not going through shit, neglect what they're going through. So now you're going to focus on those emotional wounds that you haven't healed, that shadow work that you need to do. And now you get to really, this is the best time for shadow work on some man shit. This is the best time for shadow work. So ultimately, this energy might play out both ways. All right, this energy might play out both ways, but it's really dependent on what house Capricorn is ruling in your chart. So for me, if you listen to last week's call, right, for me, Capricorn is ruling my fourth house. What is the fourth house? The fourth house is the house of your family, inner being, your emotional side, right? So for me, all of a sudden, Pluto goes retrograde into Capricorn. What is Capricorn? Ruled by Saturn, the father type energy. all of a sudden my dad hits me back, and now I feel called to heal my father wound. I feel called to truly heal my masculinity. That's no coincidence. That's the energy that we're in. You feel what I'm saying? So for me, that's how it's playing out for me. And I've been doing a much deeper dive into my childhood since really the beginning of the month. Now, like I said, it's dependent on what house Capricorn is ruling in your chart. So if it's ruling the 2nd, 6th, or 10th house, chances are you can experience the transformation and different persistent type of energy when it comes to work, what you desire to achieve, and what you desire to attain in the physical world. I'll send you a link for you to fill out your birth chart so you can find out. If you have Capricorn in the 4th, now let me make that make sense first. The 2nd, 6th, and 10th houses are ruled by earth signs. Earth is the sign of being in reality, being responsible, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if you have Capricorn in the 4th, 8th, or 12th houses in water signs, I got you. Just text me in the Discord. So 4th, 8th, or 12th houses ruled by water signs. Expect that transformation of self, the deeper dive into emotional wounds, subconscious healing, more intense shadow work, and deeper progress into your shadow work. So Capricorn energy, like I said earlier, it has no distractions. They don't want to be distracted as they're ascending up the mountain. They want to be focused on their journey. Right. So I know me personally, since the beginning of June, I've seen a complete sweep of anything that would distract me, and I've gotten ultra focused and clear on what it is that I want to do. You feel what I'm saying? I see so many distractions have ultimately just cleared out of my way. And for these next 6 months, I'm very clear on what it is that I want to achieve. I've always had goals, et cetera, but now I've never been more certain on what it is that I want to do, and it's never been more personal for me. You see what I'm saying? So ultimately, that's the energy we in. You know what I'm saying? That's the energy we in. We in the second half, nigga. We in the second half of the finals, nigga. Game 7. Feel me? Game 7. We in the year of the 7. Feel me? Feel me? 8:37 on the clock as I said that. Right? And going into next year, 2024, the year of the 8. What is 8? 8 symbolizes power. I like how Andre says it because it's more so you got to look at it dualistically, right? 8 is build or destroy. So next year, I'll have a lot more to go on. I'll have a lot more to talk about as time goes on. But next year, what you are building now, I feel like it'll truly be heightened, and next year is the year where it will truly come to manifest, especially when you look at the solar eclipse that we have in April, right? I'm gonna have more to say on that as time goes on as well. Right now, I don't have much to say, so I'm not gonna pull nothing out my ass. I really want to sit down and feel me. I really want to sit down and ponder about it and dive into it the way I usually do my astrology work. But yeah, bro, that's the energy we in, man. That's the energy we in. Don't get distracted right now. And for me, the sun hasn't been out the last few days. I haven't been able to tap in, but at least get in the grass. Plant your feet in the soil, please. Get some of this energy that we're experiencing right now. And honestly, that might be why they tried to shift timelines in the first place. They want to do whatever it is that they can to hold on to their power. And they know that the more people start waking up, the more people start tapping in, the more they lose their power. They are losing control. They are losing their grip. Feel me? They are losing their grip on reality. So they're just trying to jump to another one. Feel me? Feel me? That's the last thing I'm going to say, man. All right, Dre, you can get into whatever it is you want to get into. Share your downloads.
I'm actually going to piggyback off of, let me make sure I got my screen on. Yeah, I'm actually going to piggyback off of what you were talking about with the energy and in regards to timeline jumping. So we definitely did jump timelines like a more than I really anticipated a few years ago in terms of us shifting financially and all those different things. To the point where it's like things that are supposed to be occurring for 2024 really for us in regards to what they were doing with programming with COVID and stuff like that, the realization's happening a whole year sooner pretty much. So it's almost like we skipped ahead. And this is why certain people are talking about extraterrestrials. They're not supposed to be here for about another year and a half, 2 years. You know what I mean? So we're really starting to jump ahead in regards to stuff like that. And I can say personally, it's kind of interesting that you were mentioning the different energies with the shift in Capricorn and Pisces. So I know like you did my birth chart the other day, right? I actually haven't even finished reading it, but it's funny because the realization I had this past week is perfectly in alignment with what you're saying. But for other people, my sun sign is Capricorn and my moon sign is Pisces. So like I kind of feel like exactly how Derek described it in terms of like for me, it's been a real balanced experience, kind of like fine tuning the weak points within the physical for me, and also really, really fine tuning and returning back to some core principles spiritually. You know what I'm saying? So one thing that I discovered last year, which really brought a lot of peace into my life, was that we're nobody's teacher. So we understand we're nobody's savior, but we're also nobody's teacher. We're not here to teach anybody anything unless they ask us. And if they ask us, we're simply giving them the tools that they gave us. You understand what I'm saying? Or the tools that we received by applying some knowledge that we got. And we can't tell them how to use it. We can say how we use it, but we can't tell them how to use it because everybody's a little bit different. And then another thing that really, really will get us to that neutral space, that gray space to be able to go in creator mode is having no judgment. All right. So we talk about no judgment, but having no judgment is having no opinion. You can still look, listen, observe. You can still do your knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and know why this thing is manifesting outside of you. But to go and voice an opinion in regards to these things, that's us truly separating from that unity consciousness. So one thing that I really found myself guilty for is really like going out to try to teach people in a sense. You get what I'm saying? Coming from a teacher's aspect, and really I'm not teaching them anything. The only thing that I'm actually supposed to be doing is giving the light that they're asking, because asking it shall be given. So we're dealing with God, right? So understanding that I'm not going to overextend my hand because, you know, there's a saying, you overextend your hand, you end up getting bit. So that's dealing with equality. That's dealing with six. You get what I'm saying? So understanding that you cannot take away from your equality mentally and physically and overextend to somebody else, because now you're pulling away from your light. So like I realized once I found this how would I explain this? This surge of love, you get what I'm saying? This surge of peace, this surge of tranquility and homeostasis where downloads was flowing all the time. Dreams is like very, very vivid, like a message I gotta write down. Like, truth be told, I wasn't judging anything. It didn't matter who it was. It was almost as if I was completely in the observer state 100% of the time, which allowed me to go up to my highest timeline and start tapping into different things. And how I'm gonna correlate that to is that whiteboard that Derek wrote in terms of the circle, the Fibonacci sequence. I call it the Fibonacci sequence because that's truly what it is. So that was a 2D perspective of it, but really what we're doing is we're going like this. So now this is why we're experiencing this. It seems like the same lesson, but it's not quite the same. It's like, dang, this is so much similar to what I experienced last time, but it's not manifesting quite the same. Like I feel like I learned more. You get what I'm saying? Like that's really what we're experiencing. And now we just went through something that I call a harmonic convergence, where we got all the planets lined up. This is what just happened this week too. So like for me personally, knowing that there were so many synchronicities with people's energies and periods that they were going to go to, knowing that when all those planets line up, all those timelines are lining up simultaneously at one of those X's that Derek had written up. So now we can literally catapult ourselves, depending on the work that we did building up to this moment, into a whole completely different dimension where we will feel like we time skipped. You know, time is, you start to go in deeper levels of consciousness, different stuff like that. So I can say personally, I had a really, really interesting dream last night where I was in like New York City looking across the water, right? And then there was a big vortex that opened up in the sky, and a ship dropped down in the sky upside down, and it landed in the water, right? It landed in the water on its I guess you could say the roof, and then it flipped back over. And then I heard a message. It was a bunch of us standing there. They told us to get on the ship, right? And they said, get on the ship, a storm's coming, get on the ship, go to the back of the ship. So now we go to the back of the ship, and the storm comes, and the storm slices the whole front side of the ship off, right? So now I know I was told to stay on the ship, and I jump off the ship. You get what I'm saying? Right when this shit happens. And I was like, okay, that was my flight or flight reaction, right? This is talking about having an emotional awareness. This is talking about really starting to stand on your purpose. That's a fight or flight reaction. We've been programmed to be in fight or flight for eons now, to where we subconsciously do it from the slightest trigger, talking about feeding into television and you watching soap opera or whatever it is, Law and Order, and now you sitting there, your emotions draw it into it. Those are fight or flight reactions. You get what I'm saying? So now this was really a sign for me to sit back and do nothing. We've done all the work already. A lot of us have been working really since 2020. This is kind of when most of us really started to be aware that we were conscious. The work is done. So we are literally now in the golden age as we speak. So now object in motion stays in motion. We've been putting in so much energy to ascend that now you just got to let the object flow and do not get in its way, literally. So whatever you've been working on in terms of your self-development, anything like that, do not get in the way of it. And the only way you can get in the way of it is by having an opinion towards something. Once you have an opinion towards something, now you are judging it. Once you are judging it, you are separating it to something outside of yourself. Now, once you're separating it to something outside of yourself, you no longer have an understanding. And love is the highest elevation of understanding. So now you're not admitting love. And this is how you actually go back downwards on that chart that Nicolette was showing yesterday. You get what I'm saying? So now understanding that a majority of us have already experienced that 12th dimension in terms of the state of bliss, but egos is what's stopping people from getting there. So what I'm gonna say too is, bro, Derek, you gotta let go of that pride you've been talking about. You gotta let go of that pride, bro, because that's gonna stop you. Right now, what you just had was a very, very beautiful download, and you're capable of having that all the time. You're really not supposed to be experiencing any brain fog in any way, shape, or form, nor should we be feeling drained at this point. But those egos is what's draining us because we're giving our energy to something that don't serve our highest timeline. We know we're supposed to be vibrating way faster than we actually are. You get what I'm saying? Given how powerful the sun is, given the different events. So this is why, like you said, this month is important. I feel like this last week, motherfuckers been smacking like 4 or 5 days in a row. I feel like it's a new like celestial event, something along those lines. And I just been walking, bro, just like gobbling it up. And it's been beautiful because it's like, it's almost like I did a 360 because this time last year, I was at the point of homeostasis, non-judgment, moving with peace, love, and light, egos not manifesting, getting downloads. And now I'm back at that point, and now it's in the state of 7. Now I'm in a knowingness state. Last year, I realized I was discovering it, raising my equality because we were in the year of 6. You get what I'm saying? So equality to my cipher, we got 2 + 2 + 2 for 2022. And then you have the 0. So that's equalizing my subconscious mind and my conscious mind. Now we're in the 7th year, which is God. So now you're stepping into your knowingness. You're showing and proving you master all sciences of reality. So this is why certain people, they might have got deeper into, for example, candle magic or tarot readings or any of those things, charts. You get what I'm saying? Really started to tap into their divine essence because now they know they have some type of power that they could be using. You get what I'm saying? Not just for themselves, but for other people that are seeking that same light, that are on that same path. You get what I'm saying? So now you're absolutely right. Next year, we're going to experience build or destroy, right? So for the people that haven't been putting in that work, they're going to have to destroy their foundation next year. Some people will quite literally cease to exist. They might, like you said, at age 29, you're supposed to pat whatever it is, that person's got to pass in a car accident. That's what we're going to start seeing next year. You get what I'm saying? Like a lot of people going to drop and they're going to say, oh, the population is going down, all different types. That's not what's going on. These people vibrationally literally cannot exist within this golden age right now. So they're descending to a lower state of planet because right now, that timeline shift that we experienced, Mother Gaia has united her heart with the rest of her chakras below her, and she is now in her light body. You get what I'm saying? So what I actually sent the voice message to Derek and CJ, and I was talking about how finite and how infinite our existence actually is, dealing with micro and macro, right? So understanding that we are literally a part of this planet, which is a part of a universe, right? But let's just use when we describe this divine entity as God or whatever it is, it's a light body of a person, right? Because we are made in this image, which is why we have 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head. Allah, arm, leg, arm, head. So understanding that energy that we in, that light body we in, we're a fragment of that overall light body, which we call source energy, right? And we are on just one of its loops. okay? And at some point, those loops will lock up and we'll start noticing different universes will come interacting with us. So let's just say we're talking about this overall God's light body's nose, right? And you got the left nostril and the right nostril. Imagine the left nostril being universe 11 and the right nostril being universe 12. They now understand, okay, there's another universe right there. They're buddy buddy. They've been interacting for years. But then you go over there to the bridge of the nostril and you got universe 7 sitting there. It's like, yo, I heard there's a universe 12, universe 11. Dang, everything's lining up. Let's go jump with them. Let's go see what's up, what they talking about. We just discovered them. Let's go jump. It's perfect time, right? So this is what we're experiencing with extraterrestrials and stuff like that. And now that we have gotten into a state of being one with that light body and we're all having those observer moments when we're not judging, we're just simply experiencing and listening to what's being delivered to us, the lesson in real time, being in the utmost present. Now we're sitting there and connecting with that timeline as well, to where anything that we're talking about is going to happen right away, like instantly, literally. So, and I started to experience a glimpse of this last year where I would say, yo, this person's about to go do X, Y, and Z. And then the next day, boom, it happens. Like, so now we're stepping back into that energy because like you just said, we got to the highest point of the sun that is going to be for this year in the year of God. So now people are going to have some form of justice for the next half of the year, depending on what you've been doing toward the end of 2022, which was equalizing yourself, and what you did in the beginning of 2023. You are now going to reap the rewards, the penalty or reward for the actions or deeds you have caused up to that point. You get what I'm saying? So now for people that have still been in lower frequencies, you know, being negative, being toxic, they're going to have their repercussions to get them back on page on their true path. Like everybody's going to experience that. And what has been beautiful about it is because I have revisited some, I wouldn't say old relationships, but old situations, right? And doing my knowledge to where those individuals are at, like I was able to send love and transcend something that really would have used to get to me. You get what I'm saying? And I understood, okay, I dealt with my jewels properly. You get what I'm saying? I dealt with my daily mathematics and my degrees properly with murdering these devils that are in my cipher right now. Because I'm murdering these devils internally. Because that's the only reason why it's reflecting me back to me anyways. That means I still have some type of attachment to it. And attachment is that friction, right? So they say once you murder the 4 devils in the Nation of Islam, the gods and earths, right, you're supposed to have free transportation to the holy city of Mecca. This is talking about the Akashic records. Okay, so understanding that you are supposed to be in a state of knowingness and have access to any information you want right now in the present moment, as long as you are in alignment with all 4 quarters of your heart, which is the different elements that we deal with. So sometimes you are in a fiery state where you feel rage. Sometimes you are in a watery state where you feel like you're in the flow state. Sometimes you're in an airy state where you feel like you're in a state of bliss. Sometimes you're in an earthly state where you feel very, very grounded, very rooted and connected. Right. So those are all what exists within our heart chakra, which, like, again, I'm a reference Avatar, the Last Airbender, like Derek did. When General Iroh was showing Zuko how to redirect lightning, he drew a circle on the floor and he split it into quarters. And he talked about how lightning came from the water tribe, although this was a fire bending type of tactic. Right. And he understood that all of these elements are in unison. They exist within you as well, although only you are only manifesting right now fire. Right. So it's funny because today I was watching Legend of Korra, and it's been a few weeks since I watched it, truthfully. Right. And the episode, this was right after they went and opened up the spiritual realm to the physical realm, to the spiritual beings were now seeing, and they could coexist with the physical beings as well. And the so people that were meant to be airbenders got their airbending power back. So now it completely rejuvenated the airbending tribe. You get what I'm saying? So now they're talking about educating the new airbenders that didn't think they can do any form of bending, but now that their harmonic convergence went past and we slayed the devil in the form of Vatu, and now everything's on autopilot, people are rediscovering who they truly are. You get what I'm saying? So it's the point where you don't even need to focus on the negativity in any way, shape, or form. It literally isn't gonna work. There are too many people that are conscious. The planet is on its highest frequency it has been up to this point. You get what I'm saying? Since its existence, it's understanding that nothing literally can stop that. The job is done. They're gonna try shit, but people are too conscious at this point. They know it's bullshit. You get what I'm saying? So it's like There's no reason to be teaching anybody. There's no reason to be trying to wake folks up. They're going to wake up regardless if they want to or not, because the planet's going to force them to. And if they still fight their soul contract, they're going to have to go to another timeline. You get what I'm saying? And that's okay. You know what I mean? So just more so, I think this is really a time for us to focus within. You get what I'm saying? A time for us, like Derek said, to do great shadow work. That's 100% true. The energies are in favor in that. It's a great time to raise your frequency as much as possible to get you to move as fast as a timeline as you can. You know, so a lot of people, they'll start finding their one true individual that they're going to ride with on this spiritual journey. You know, there's going to be new relationships that are forming. There's going to be old relationships that are ending. Like, this is a good time to do some break and cut. You can go and get some candles and burn it. And I'm going to say this in the aspect of understanding that you are setting an intention in this candle. This candle is just maintaining the frequency that you put into it. It's nothing outside of yourself. You get what I'm saying? So we need to make sure that we let go of the victim mentality, right? The mentality of something's being done to us, something outside of ourselves. You are your only enemy. You are your only devil. You get what I'm saying? There's no reason to get mad at anybody else but yourself, regardless to what they're doing to you, because ultimately, why did you do this to yourself? You get what I'm saying? So once you start going with that analogy, things will stop affecting you, and you'll now start to master that art of detachment. That art of detachment does not mean you don't feel. You still feel, but now you are in control, and you completely have that filter up from lower vibrations to higher vibrations. So now you're no longer going to jump back from third dimension to fifth dimension because you're sitting there in the fourth playing around. You playing with fire right now. You get what I'm saying? So now you truly going to go to that fifth dimension and close the door from the lower ones. And now you're solidifying your foundation and getting ready for next year, which is that build. You get what I'm saying? So whatever you've been working on, it is going to come through fruition. And some people, it's going to happen sooner than others, depending on where they're at right now in the present moment. You get what I'm saying? Because it's a great time to really be manifesting. It's a great time to start new businesses. It's been a great time to start new businesses, truthfully. But now definitely, because the year is equalized at this point, now we're going to start to go to the final phase, which is, it's going to end up being December, obviously, which is coming to an understanding of what you've done towards the middle half of the year and how that's solidified towards the end, getting ready to build upon that and really start to skyrocket. So, wow. I guess that's pretty much that. I think off the top of my head, what I was going to say. I'll do the universal laws. I think that's what I was talking about last time. I'll do that another call. But if y'all got any questions or I want to talk about anything, y'all can ask, please.
I'm gonna allow everybody to ask questions in a second.
What about 90? Yeah, all those things exist. Those are just your frequencies. You can get to the 12th dimension, you know what I'm saying, which is the state of bliss. But there's dimensions above that. Oh, that's another thing too. My bad, before anybody else goes and unmute. We were talking about how within every single X, there's like an infinite number of X's. So understand that within every one, there's 0 through 9. Within every 2, there's 0 through 9, right? So it's understanding that, yes, we are also in a micro perspective, but every single atom on you has a whole entire universe in it. This is what they were referencing in Men in Black with the cat that had the little necklace on it, and it's the universe in the first one. Okay, that's understanding. Or Horton Hears a You with the little speck on the flower. You get what I'm saying? That's our existence. So yes, we are very big. We're also very small. You get what I'm saying? And what that does is that neutralizes your egos to, you don't feel like you're so little or you're not deserving, but you're not too big-headed and too cocky. You're right there in the middle. You understand that you mean nothing and everything at the same time. You're big and small. You get what I'm saying? You're important and not important. You know what I mean? You're worthy and not worthy, but now you're equalizing yourself to where you can now have free transportation. Another thing too, that I'm sitting there thinking about it, I was talking to somebody I keep high regards in my mind, and I was asking them, I said, listen, when we get free transportation to the holy city of Mecca, why do we continue to create devil to oppose us, knowing that we do not need friction to ascend anymore? You get what I'm saying? And ultimately he said, that's literally just a matter of perception and what you want to create at that point. So it's understanding that if you're truly trying to experience that grace and that ease on your path, you are 100% entitled to, as long as your heart is pure and completely open and you're not trying to ascend to your third eye before you done did your other work. You get what I'm saying? As long as you've done your work leading up to that, you will have free transportation. Know that with that free transportation, there can be nothing that will get in your path if that's what you believe and that's what you will say. You will not be in alignment with any low vibrational things. You will not have low vibrational experiences. It'll literally be exactly what you say is going to be. And this is why really now, more so than ever, it's important that we are very, very careful what we are saying with our native tongues, because it will come true in a time like now. So like, you got it. If y'all don't have a filter up and y'all really trying to go down this path, look into how to create a filter. Let me say that. Let me say it like that to make sure I'm not teaching anybody. I'm in the form of anybody that's seeking that light, they will go pick it up. You get what I'm saying? So, and understand, oh, and why is it important? Why is it important to not be acting out of the state of a teacher? Because that's actually what we call the hero journey. That's what we call the hero journey, right? So you feel like you got to go and save a motherfucker. You got to save somebody. You got to save your people. You literally are not obligated to do that in whatsoever. That is not your obligation, okay? That is a hero journey. Understanding that that is actually going to hold you back because you will be trying to be Captain Saving It, okay? You are going to lower your vibration by overextending yourself, thinking you're supposed to be a hero, all right? You do not have to show that you master this science of reality more than once. This is why when you hear Jesus Christ about healing people, he did something different every single time he healed somebody. One person couldn't walk, he went and kissed them, and now this person was able to walk. The next person had leprosy, he went and healed them of leprosy, and now this person was healthy again. The next thing he did, he walked on water, showed Peter how to walk on water. Peter just so happened to stop believing in it, and he fell in the water. You get what I'm saying? So this is showing that you master all different science of reality, and the reason why this individual, I'm gonna say Yeshua, let me explain it like that rather than Jesus, right? So the reason why this individual Yeshua understood these different sciences of reality, because he took the time to study every religion or culture around the planet. So he went to South America, he went to Asia, he was in Africa where he learned the Kemetic science and stuff like that. He went to Europe, he experienced all these different continents. So where was I going with that next? Right, being a teacher. Okay, so back to being a teacher. Right, once we get past the hero journey, we understand that no matter what you're doing, you are doing something. Even if you feel like you're doing nothing, you're doing something. Okay, and whatever is your calling, like whatever, like you literally feel that like you can admit the most amount of love, you got to be doing it. Like you have to be doing it. If this is the path you're gonna go on and you want to survive the energy that's about to come, because for people that aren't doing their work, it'll be catastrophic because their vessels can't handle it. But right now, all of us have the DNA in our coding to withstand these events. You don't need to build another ark like Noah, where we all hiding on a fucking ship to survive the flood. You don't need to do any of that. We can all literally sit here and withstand this, but you have to be truly on this path. You're going to get tested to see, do you really want to go down this path, or was you just saying some shit just to say some shit? That's pretty much what you're going to start experiencing if you haven't already gotten over those things, right? So egos, we got to let them go. You get what I'm saying? Because it's divine love. It doesn't matter what the ego is, whether it's sharing your friend, whatever it is. It's time to let the egos go in any way, shape, or form. We have to stop having ownership over people, because we don't own anybody and nobody owns us. We are sovereign beings. This is a great time to learn about your consumer laws and get into sovereignty. It's a perfect time. I want to say that it is important that all of us, if we are going to go down this path, to get some type of knowledge in that, because everything is transitioning into AI. So we know how, they're starting to implement the Neuralink and stuff like that. Okay, they are skipping the human interaction now as many ways as possible, so there's no more human errors. Okay, the human errors is what makes the matrix have loopholes to escape it in the first place. They are trying to lock people in. If you are not doing your work and you are not ascending, you will get locked in. If you're doing your work and you're ascending and you're educating yourself and you're aligning yourself, you will be fine. For the people that aren't doing that, whoever fits into those categories, whichever shoe it fits, it's time to go. Get your shit together. It's time to go. Like there's no more making excuses for why you're not doing some shit that you know you need to be doing. Just do it. Just do it. Like there is a concept of people say, well, it takes time for you to grow. That's a matter of perception. How long are you going to hold on to this level, this portion of attachment, which is just an ego. Attachment is an ego. Egos only manifest when you're attached anyways. You know what I'm saying? There's 19 people on the call making knowledge born. Knowledge born guy. Could have 7 comments in the chat. That's interesting. Oh, let me check the chat. Pardon self. 13. Yeah, master universal laws is key. In terms of explaining more on an Islamic viewpoints, it's not even Islamic, honestly. For me to even put it within that construct would be kind of grafting that information. It's just to be one with nature if I had to simplify it. So if you're on that path of one in nature, you're naturally going to get in alignment with the mathematics. Oh yeah, the holy city of Mecca. That's talking about like I said, the Akashic records. You get what I'm saying? That was supposed to be the great library that all of us studied from, you know, as good and righteous Muslims, which is just people that are one with nature. And Allah is just describing man, arm, leg, arm, head. So anytime I reference that, it's not like some mystical being outside of myself. I understand that I am God, but I'm not anybody else's God, and you guys are God, but you're not anybody else's God. Tips on staying patient when you pass 12.
Let me answer that question about if we're not supposed to teach, what are we supposed to do? For me, at least, like, I've been saying this to myself for like almost the last year now, is help those that want to be helped, literally. You know what I'm saying? And on my TikTok, when I'm posting my content, I'm not trying to wake anybody up. You know what I'm saying? I just like expressing myself. You feel me? So whatever your form of expression is going to be, just do that. You know what I'm saying? So like, say like Arcades and other spiritual rappers, you know what I'm saying? Maybe their intent might actually be to teach and wake people up. But say for you, all you wanted to do is make music, but you know the type of information and the lyrics that you're going to have, what you're going to put over a beat, it's going to be some type of conscious material. Ultimately, that's just your form of expression. You see what I'm saying? So ultimately, just express yourself. That's what I've been doing. I've just been expressing myself. It's not out of any intention other than to express myself.
Word is bond. Word is bond. So what I would say to that is just be. Ultimately, we just need to be. So you found that light, just be that light. People that like that light that you're admitting, they will come and seek that light. Now, it's important that we have discernment, because there are going to be low vibrational people that want that light, and they're just going to take because you're admitting it, and if they seek, asking it shall be given. So you're obligated to go and give it because they're asking. You get what I'm saying? But what gives you that discernment, and I'm talking, let me say this, let me correct that. You're obligated to give it from a wiring perspective, right? So when we are admitting love, we're naturally giving people, and we give with a good and happy heart. You get what I'm saying? But obviously, you know that there are individuals that will come and take advantage of that heart because they see how much light you're admitting. So having that discernment to who is who, right? So are they just taking it because they need you at this time, or are they actually trying to better themselves and they're implementing the work? So for an example, if somebody asks you how to be positive and you recommended meditation, and they keep talking about their negative problems, and you ask them if they meditated, and they say, nah, bro, haven't meditated, you know what I'm saying, haven't tried it yet, you know, I don't know what it is. Let that nigga go. Let him go. Let him go. You gotta let him go. You might say, well, how much time do you know it might take to do that? It's simple. Once you give them the tools, they have the information they need to go and start implementing it. Okay, you give them their space, they will come across your cipher if they're meant to come across your cipher. So I don't talk to anybody unless something makes me talk to them or they're able to reach my vibrational plane. Okay, meaning that like there are people that call my phone, I do not get the missed call whatsoever, and they told me they called me. They could not reach my frequency. So I understand that is not now my cue to go and text them. You get what I'm saying? Or just start talking to them all the time. I'll respond in that moment because it reached my cipher now, which means they're now in alignment. But maybe in that present moment in time when they called me the first time, they was calling for something that was negative again. You get what I'm saying? So it's understanding that there is nothing that will be negative that will happen to you unless you believe negative things can happen to you. I'll break it down like that. So you're not gonna experience a losing trade unless you literally believe that you are capable of experiencing a losing trade. You are not gonna experience any form of killing unless you believe that you are able to experience some form of killing. All right. So whatever you believe shall be. You get what I'm saying? So now understanding that, like, I do not believe in anything that can harm my vessel in any way, shape, or form. This is food, people, places, things, thoughts. I do not believe in any of those things harming my vessel in any way, shape, or form. You get what I'm saying? It's important. Another thing too that you can do, announce those things on Instagram as well, because understand the system is listening regardless. You get what I'm saying? They are always watching you. This is not something to go and be paranoid. It's just simply understanding that this is what's going on. They're not sitting there as being like, oh, I just peeped, such and such just did X, Y, and Z. They're not sitting there looking at you with a microscope. But there is something that is tracking everything you're doing. Yes. They're tracking everything you're saying, everything you're moving. It's in the database. You know what I'm saying? They're not going and just looking at your file specifically. You know what I'm saying? But understand that that's always going. So just make sure that you state to that system that you do not consent to any form of enslavement. This is mentally, physically, or spiritually. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, start really separating from your straw man. You know what I'm saying? Your corporation being. That's important. Hold on.
Yeah. You meet the people. Do you believe that you meet the people you meet at the right time? You did. Would that be considered alignment? Yeah. If it's your soul would know, but what if you're fated to meet that person and every single timeline these paths cross, then so be it. It's alignment.
Can I say something real quick?
Jody, man.
What's going on? I just want to say I'm really grateful for this call. Yeah, I really appreciate you, CJ, for really sending me out the link. But yeah, what you guys were saying was really beautiful, and it's definitely was just perfect divine timing, really with alignment with everything. And something that was kind of sitting on my spirit, and I felt like it was confirmation, Dre, is that you guys said that it's really not time to be teaching. Like, you don't have to play that hero role, and it's just like the fact that you could just be. All you have to do is just shine. It's like the right people is going to come to you. The right energy is going to come to you. All you have to do is just shine and just show who you are, and people is going to follow that example. It's just like how, sometimes you have the lights on in your house and you leave the door open and all the bugs come in. They come straight to the light. You feel me? So all you have to do is just shine bright, and the right people is going to come to you and follow your example. So it's no more like, oh yeah, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that. It's all a matter of just shining and showing the things that you're doing to help yourself, and then others is going to see that. So I really love that. That was, perfect confirmation that, it's not really time. You don't really got to teach. You just got to, be who you are, and the right people is going to, see that. Appreciate you.
Most def. Kaylee, she had a question. She said, what if you only attract flies? How do you change that for those who don't know how? I don't believe anybody just attracts flies. I believe that they're lacking some type of like internal love. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way you can attract a fly. You can only attract a fly for being one yourself in any way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying?
That's awareness though too. Like,
yeah.
If you're attracting, like, for example, a fly specifically, I feel like a fly is an example that you have to be more aware. Flies have eyes all different directions everywhere. You see a fly, that means that you have to be aware of your surroundings right now. You have to be aware of what's going on. So, and if you feel like you do have to preach to somebody about something, or you have to teach, or you feel like you're called to teach in that moment, that conversation was probably for you. In all reality, the same way how you're saying, oh, you have to do this, or you're not meditating, or you're not this, is probably because those are things that you have to work on within yourself.
Yep.
So that,
If you're
for
teaching,
me,
you're
like,
projecting.
yep,
If
and
you're
it's
teaching,
really
you're
a
projecting.
everything is you. That's something that's really been hitting me.
Your perception, your perception on somebody is how you perceive yourself at the end of the day. So be careful who you mad at. Be careful who
you mad at yourself.
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So hold on, let me see what else we got here.
Y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
All right, bet. So I wanted to kind of dive in and pick up off what Joe was saying, because we actually had that conversation probably like a couple weeks ago. And, you know, what I was telling him, you know, was that I've been actually coming across conversations where I'm kind of answering questions for people, but it's like a thing to where they're asking me things that I already overcame. So it's easy for me to like kind of answer it. But the thing is, I'm not looking at it in the perspective of like, oh, they need the help. I'm looking at it in the perspective of, okay, why is this person reflecting, or why are they asking me something that I've already I felt accomplished? And what I ended up, you know, kind of coming to the conclusion is that, like you guys said, everything is a projection. So even conversations where you think like they're pointless, sometimes there are conversations that are pointless to your universe because you're just in the wrong environment. But sometimes people ask you things and you're like, where did that even come from? And then it comes from your own projection of your own thoughts. And it comes from your own mindset. It comes from your own shift of things that you need to accomplish or accommodate with. Even last night, I talked to Derek, and, you know, I guess I was hitting him up and asking for his opinion and his advice. But after the call was over, he said, I'm not going to lie, even though I kind of gave you the information, it was a call that I need. It was a call that I needed because it helped me to actually understand more about my situation of what I'm going through and how to actually go about it. So sometimes it's not even just about, you know, what people ask you. It's not about them kind of, you know, asking you the question and stuff. It's more about, why are they asking you? What is it? Where is it coming from? And how can it resonate from within? Could it be a projection from your own self? Because everybody here is a reflection. You know, everybody here is under the same consciousness, but it's all about us to raise in the level of consciousness to be aware that we are, you know, we are on the same experience. We are in the same experience, just different perspectives. So that's why some of us come from a background from the hood. Some of us come from a background from a country background. But that's why people like that can still come together and have conversations like this, because it's not about where you're from. You know, it's about the lesson that you actually was able to gain. And I think that's what, you know, ties back into what Derek was saying, that timelines actually can overlap to teach you guys the same lessons. It might come in different forms, but the universal law and lesson might be the same. So we've all experienced some type of heartbreak, I'm sure. Some of us from a female, some of us from a male, others of us from a dog. You know what I'm saying? We've experienced heartbreak, and we've learned how to actually be better from those heartbreaks. And so now we've experienced different things now on a higher conscious level. And it's very important for us to really just kind of recognize these things, because these conversations is what's going to actually change the planet. Like everybody's saying, like everybody here has to be the best version of themselves and know these answers within before they can go and look for it without. And yeah, like I just definitely want to add on to that. But you know, I know Big Salim about to, you know, he about to get the songs right now. So let's go ahead.
Hey yo, I feel like going on. Wait, hold on, real quick. Listen, so it's Salim, by the way. But listen, it's always not just like projecting, right? And the standpoint of like, why is this person saying this to me? I feel like I overcame this. You must understand that our journey is also about each one teach one. Right. So understand that you overcame these lessons for a reason. It's not to hold on to it and just continue on your journey. You are bound to attract other people who need your light. So at the end of the day, You are here to teach the next person to help them overcome their obstacles, help them overcome certain standpoints within their journey so they can uplift themselves and get to the next level of themselves. And then they will be able to have that same kind of wisdom to teach on to the next person. So it's not to keep these gems to ourselves. Him saying like we're here to constantly plant seeds because we cannot do this shit by ourselves. We are a conscious collective, right? For me to gain the things that I've gained is not for me to just keep it. I'm now going to share it. So if somebody's coming to me for my wisdom and I'm using that discernment, like, oh, like this person really needs my wisdom and they're going to use it for good, then I'm going to share that wisdom so it can help them get to the next level. Because what's going to happen to them now? Now they have the ability to obtain that wisdom and share it to the next person. Then that person share it to the next person. And that's how we're going to rise as a conscious collective. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's like, yeah, it's one thing projecting and why this person came into my life. But remember, you're still a teacher. We are both students and teachers of this game of life. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, don't hold on to it and just think it's just on some projecting type of ordeal. You know what I'm trying to say? So I just wanted to bounce off of that and really like, bro, we here for one another, bro. Like we dead here for one another.
So I'm gonna actually piggyback off of that one, and in regards to when you were talking about for example, us going through something and now you come across an individual that you might have exactly what you need. So it's understanding that, like they said, none of our interactions are accidental. You get what I'm saying? It's not that we are teaching these individuals, but what we're doing is we are being the solution that they were looking for. You get what I'm saying? So it's leading by example. You know what I'm saying? So it's like as a child, right? A child often doesn't listen to what their parents are telling them to do. They listen to what their parents are showing them. You get what I'm saying? So we are creatures of what we see, not what we hear. You get what I'm saying? So we are creatures of copying the habits that we seen, right? So this is why you can go to specific neighborhoods and you can see everybody doing the exact same thing. That's because they are a product of their environment, what they have been observing. You get what I'm saying? So like understanding that when we come across individuals and we can see ourselves within them, and it's like we're witnessing a past timeline. You know what? I'm gonna share this story after I'm done with this, but we are witnessing a past timeline of ourselves. We are now understanding that by us being who we now are in this level of understanding and emitting this light, we are innately saying, here goes a piece of it. You're seeking it. I've been there. Here you go. You can't tell them how to use this light though, because now you're altering their free will. You get what I'm saying? So you have to give that, just knowing that they have to learn how to work with it themselves if they really want to make this thing blossom. So we are planting seeds, but it's by people that want to be planted in the first place. You get what I'm saying? We can't plant into people against their will, because now we impregnating them with our prophetic thoughts, and that's manipulation. You know what I'm saying? So
it's like this. Go ahead.
So then I was gonna say next that this week, literally, there was this guy. He came here. I was on the balcony with my lady, and we were talking and building upon things. And he had blonde dreads, and he was like, yo, can I use your phone? Left my phone. You know what I'm saying? I don't got it. I'm not from here. Can I call my cousin? And I'm looking at him, started to judge. All right, you get what I'm saying? I see he got a wife beater. It's kind of dingy, like, you know what I'm saying? His pants, maybe trying to rob and run. So then I was like, what you say? And I was like, you said you need your phone. He was like, yeah, word is bond. I heard word is bond. I'm like, okay, people just don't sit there and say that. You get what I'm saying? You got to be on some type of journey just to go and sit there and say word is bond. You just don't be saying that, right? So now once he says that, I accidentally dropped my lighter, right? And it has, matter of fact, do I got it on? No, I don't got it on me. But I got a little lighter that has a rose on it, and it's a peach color. So that's like one of me and my lady. We call that the love lighter. That falls off the balcony, right? And understanding that lighter fell off the balcony, he could have easily said, yo, if you bring me the phone, I'll give you the lighter back. He could have went and manipulated that situation. But I said, yo, what's the person's number? He was like, oh, he's told me the number. I called him. He's like, yo, you want your lighter back? He tossed it back up. You get what I'm saying? And he was still panicking. Like, he was like, yo, because I got blonde hair. People going, you know what I'm saying? I stand out, this, that, and the third. So my lady stands and she was like, yo, relax. He was like, word is bond, I'm bugging. So he goes and sits down, right? And I'm sitting there, I'm just contemplating on how he sat there and manifest those 3 words so many different times. And I'm like, yo, you study the math? He was like, the math? I was like, you study the math? He was like, oh yeah. Word is bond, word is bond. I was like, yo, just chill then. You good. Stay in your cipher. You know what I'm saying? You know exactly who you be and where you at. You good. Now he's like, word. And he got happy. He was like, yo, appreciate y'all. He was like, what love? Like, and he went off cool. Now there's a kid that walks down, has it literally the opposite colors on. So this guy had on white and black. The other kid had on black on top of white, and he was carrying a skateboard. Same skin color, had a beard, same everything. Blonde dreads, everything. Looked cleaned up. I was like, yo, I just watched somebody literally transform right in front of my face because we sent them love. Rather than panicking or judging them in any way, shape, or form, we sent them nothing but peace, love, and positivity. And we helped them with based upon what they were requesting. Now the refined version of themselves, here they come walking down the hill right now, look exactly the same. And this person over there before, and it's funny because the things we were talking about was in alignment with those lower frequencies in a state of panicking and all that stuff. You get what I'm saying? So then once we sat there and we transmuted that, it was like, whoa, because we went there and we transmuted it and we recognized ourselves within this being right there, and we sent them that love that we were admitting at this present moment in time that we've experienced. His refined self came down the hill, listening to high vibrational music at that too, something that I would go and listen to personally. Like, it was beautiful, you know. So we can experience multiple timelines. Hold on, give me a second. We can experience multiple timelines instantly. Literally, we could shift dimensions instantly, where we will see people literally evolve right in front of our face, you know, in a matter of split seconds. So I just wanted to share that story because it was pretty, like,
yeah, it's deep.
Yeah, another thing too, like when people seek teachers, don't seek a teacher, just seek the answer. Because like you'll find teachers that will like put trick knowledge into what they preaching. You know what I'm saying? So oftentimes a teacher is associated with age, you know what I'm saying? And it'll be in the aspect of older individuals, and they'll go and use their knowledge for kind of like planting a seed that's gonna sprout, and they're gonna look for something in return in the back end, you know, distorting it with manipulation. So just make sure you seek for just the answer, not necessarily a teacher, because you are your own teacher. That's for the only person that is actually teaching yourself anything. I can spit to you all my knowledge, wisdom, and understanding all I want. Unless you decide to get your own wisdom with it, I didn't teach you anything. You applying the knowledge, experience is the only teacher in life. That's it. That's it. That's why I said we literally can't teach anybody. We gotta damn near take that out of our vocabulary if we really trying to go to the next level, because it don't exist. Everything, we are not teaching anybody anything. There's literally nothing new under the sun. You get what I'm saying? So like it's to the point, like let's just say you heard somebody for an example use the same analogy you did exactly verbatim. You literally can't go and get territorial over the way you sat there and articulated, because that's not the first time it's ever been said this way on this planet. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't own that word. You don't own that spell. You get what I'm saying? You don't own that wisdom. This is wisdom that you have acquired by submitting to the path. That's it. So it's like there's a few different things I've been thinking about. And a lot of these things are just realizations that I've had, that I've manifested these in different ways and shapes and forms within the last 6 months. So that's it. Man, we had 920 perfectly. Look at that. Let me see something. We all share our thoughts. Physical, sometimes conversations are needed. Yeah. It's all about what, like, if you ask a question, you're going to tune into the frequency that you were seeking. So we, technically speaking, we don't have to say anything. This is the concept behind being a Buddha and just sitting in meditation. You're still elevating consciousness, because there will be people that will get the answer from you with just from your mind. For those that watch Dragon Ball Super, notice how Jiren was meditating during the tournament power. There's one way. There's no way. Yeah, exactly.
What does it mean?
Not Some people get caught
Can I
up with-
piggyback on something
Yeah.
that's been on my mind for a minute?
Yep.
All right, so I'm bringing back up the fly story. So pretend that you're a fly, right? You're looking at that fly, but that fly is also looking at you. So think about this. If you're attracting that fly attracted you, right? So in a way, what are you gonna do with that fly though? Are you gonna hit it? What are you gonna do to it? Are you gonna leave it alone? Or are you just gonna like, the K word? You're gonna kill it or you're gonna leave it alone? Now, man, I just said this perfectly, but basically that fly is gonna have multiple perspectives too. So that fly can choose to fly around in the sky so it doesn't get hit, or it can stay in one place. It can stay still. Just like a person can stay still, just like a person can see the fly flying around, right? Now, what about like the attraction part though? You attracted that fly, but guess what else you can attract? You can attract butterflies or moths. Like I just barely saw one in my life. So like, pretty much what you see, which one do you see? Which fly do you see? Which fly are you going to attract next? Because you don't want that moth, do you? That should be like ruining clothes. That should be like annoying, right? And it leaves like a residue in a way. I can squish it. Shit, what else can it do? That shit can protect you in a way. Because moths also have spirits. Just like animals. All animals have spirits. So if you kill that, just know that shit coming back to you. That's why you see all these flies around. Why do you think there's multiple flies? If you see one black fly, you're going to see multiple flies, right? You can see another one and another one. That should be flying around the house. Like, where the fuck do you come from? Like, where did you come from though? Really think about it. Where did you come from? Where did that fly come from? But where did you come from? Because if you're attracting that fly, that's the only fly you're attracting? Really? Like, what else can you attract besides that one fly? You can attract a lot of things. You can attract love. You can attract abundance, prosperity, wealth, happiness. What else? Negativity. Negative shit that you can do. That you can
Now,
attract.
wait, Kaylee, let me jump in. Because
She going on.
when you think about like you saying you can attract a fly, you can attract a moth, you can attract a butterfly, but which one are you giving your attention to?
Exactly.
Right? And then whichever one you give your attention to, what is your perspective of this fly? Right.
Yeah.
So you look at
Is it
this
bad?
fly, you look at the moth,
Is it
and then you look at
scary?
the butterfly.
Like,
Ultimately, you look at the butterfly like it's better than the rest. So you see the fly and you instantly start swatting at it. You see the moth, you instantly try to get it out, but you see the butterfly and you let it stay. Why
I
did
do
you
let this
choose
butterfly
butterfly's
stay.
energy? Wait. Why did you choose this butterfly's energy over the moth, over the fly? Ultimately,
You know
that's
why?
your judgment, and that's your judgment, and not realizing that this moth and this fly is just like you. You feel me? Because as soon as you said, like when you started off saying that, would you try to do the K word to the fly? If your first
You can
instinct
kiss
is to
it?
kill a bug,
I mean,
then that
what?
means, like, I'm not saying this is you. I'm just saying, like, feel me? If somebody's first instinct is to kill a bug, then you're operating in separation consciousness and not unity consciousness, because you forget that this bug, and also you're not operating out of love too, because you're acting like this bug is separate from you. You're acting like this bug does not have a life, a soul, a family, a spirit. So if you're so quick to instantly kill this and kill that rather than that, you're operating out of judgment. You're operating without love. You're operating in separation. That's what I'm getting from everything that you're saying right now.
And to really go off of that for real, and that's why like me as a man, bro. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I feel like me, like how I maneuver now. The house and I didn't kill it. You know, I was able to trap it, pick it up, let it go outside. A banana peel. I'm eating my banana, but I would take that banana and I would throw that back outside into the forest or something, just because I'm giving that back to earth. So at the end of the day, like, you want to have that unity consciousness. You want to have that you're no different than me. Like, putting yourself in that fly's shoe. Like, what if I was that fly and I just so happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time? Don't kill. Like, so it's like you always gotta you always sometimes a lot of times you gotta take yourself out of your own body and put yourself in a fly perspective, because we're that's what we're talking about, another person's perspective. Another, like, sometimes we could be at the wrong place at the wrong time, but what if you was at the wrong place at the wrong time, but essentially it worked out in your favor because back then or a month ago something else was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and your instance, and you had the power to either, let's talk about the fly, to kill the fly or take it outside. Now you took it outside. Fast forward, now you at the wrong place at the wrong time. That same, what's that word? Mercy is going to be done unto you. Why? Because you didn't allow yourself to have that separation consciousness. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mm.
Wait,
Yeah.
I also
Can we
want to
talk
say
about-
something about the spirit, because you mentioned the spirit. And in terms of when you see these animals, like these things around you, the spirit is always talking to you. So it's reflecting you to yourself. So like he was saying before, like the unity consciousness, not treating anything different, but understanding these are all messages. Everything is literally reflecting you. So, and it's not good or bad, it just really is. But it's being able to use discernment of when that animal or when that thing, that number, whatever it is, that sign, that omen that is being reflected to you, using discernment of what's going on in your life and how it's relative to your what's going on. Because some people say like, oh, this is just what it means, but that could be for those people in that moment, but this animal or this thing could mean something completely different for you. It's a sign relative to what's going on with your reality.
It means your
we live-
birth.
I mean, it could mean multiple different things. So it's just understanding like there's no one answer for these things. Like this is why there's religions, because everybody is trying to find a way to explain the one thing that is God, that we exist in, the one way to explain all this. So this is why like looking at things like unity consciousness from all different perspectives is what brings that together without judgment, because like you can now look at a different person saying like, this is how I see it, and understand like you see it the same way, and that's just their way of explaining it, and that's okay.
Many songs, one truth.
Wait, can we talk about the whole like when y'all say wrong place, wrong time or whatever, like, but then like, okay,
Also,
so there's
I don't
that
believe in that personally.
Yeah, that's what I was about to
because,
say. Like,
everything, what is meant for you is meant for you. It will happen. So there's no such thing as a wrong place, because you were vibrating at that frequency to be there right then and then. So like you probably weren't doing something that you were supposed to do. So that's why you align with that timeline. Because at the end of the day, you're only going to arrive to higher timelines when you're embodying your true higher self. So a higher timelines includes higher dimensional thinking. So it's not going to be in certain things that align with fear, negativity, like lower vibrations, essentially. So if you are in the wrong, quote unquote, wrong place, it's just because you're not doing the things that are supposed to be serving your highest good at that moment.
And I'm gonna piggyback off of that one, and I'm gonna say that's how you know exactly where you're at on that chart that she showed yesterday. Okay, because that chart will reveal to you just by simply asking those questions. So what I gathered from what Kaylee was saying is she's walking people through the thought process. And it's understanding that this thought process of this perspective doesn't even actually matter whatever conclusion you come to in that present moment in time, right? So understanding that for one to go and say that killing a fly is worse than taking a fly outside, that really doesn't matter, because now you're practicing judgment. You get what I'm saying? Which is getting you away from unity consciousness to understand that this fly might be creating maggots on this food that it's landing on, and these maggots, you eat it, and now these maggots are poison to you. You get what I'm saying? Or for example, you got a mosquito in your room, and you sit there and you understand, well, mosquitoes go and suck your blood. So now you sitting here consenting to some form of vampire to be in your orbital field anyways. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, everything has its equal and opposite. So understanding that there is any action or deed that is committed against something that is ultimately just yourself, just know that that reaction is going to come back regardless, right? So if you go and kill a fly, just know that something's going to be killed around you too. It can be as macro or as micro as you might think it'll be. You get what I'm saying? First of all, the mere fact that karma even exists is because you believe you did something wrong in the first place. The second you stop feeling guilty over an action, you didn't actually do anything wrong. That's real shit. So this is where like they say, there's this book that says, if you can process the fact that Hitler went to heaven, then you truly understand God. If Hitler had the perception that what he was doing was wrong and he regretted it, then he is going to have karma for what he did. That's literally what it is. If he believed that this was the best thing he needed to do for mankind and he was elevating the consciousness of the planet, guess what? He is going to have judgment and justice based upon those things. You get what I'm saying? So like like in the modern times when they talk about like different religions and stuff like that, they try to confine us in this judgment day, but you are your only judgment. You are only judging your actions and you only serve your own justice or penalty in the form of penalty or reward. You get what I'm saying? So it's like once you understand that none of these things, technically speaking, matter, that ultimately brings you back to the one thing, which is just being. So there's nothing wrong within the moment of you wanting to go and kill that fly. There's also nothing wrong with you wanting to go and take that fly outside. At the end of the day, the fly is going to die anyways. It's going to die anyways. You get what I'm saying? And that fly dying, that's also based upon our perception of what death even is anyways. Because we believe it as death as like our existence is done and that's the only one you have. No, but once you actually get past to now talking about being an ascended being or in any way, type of shape or form, you'll understand that your creative mode doesn't just exist within this physical vessel and this personal experience right now. You can control your next physical existence. So I'm gonna break it down like this. You ever heard little kids talk about, next time alive, I hope I'm a frog. Or next time I'm alive, I hope I'm a firefighter. They're right now sitting there programming their next physical existence and what they're gonna be. So one day I was walking outside, right? And I had a stain on my shirt and it was a white shirt. And my lady looked at me, she said, "You got a stain on your shirt." I said, "No, I'm a painter. I'm dressed like a painter and I'm a painter and people will perceive me as a painter." But that's real shit though. That's really what people are gonna see because that's the frequency you're sitting there admitting right now in the present moment in time. Whether or not you done painted a day in your life, it really don't make a difference. Right now you're a painter and you're gonna have those painter-like thoughts. You might start doing something creative like exactly. Now you're sitting there talking about being a synchronicity for being a painter. Now you start seeing artwork. You get what I'm saying? Now you're in the painter's paradigm. You just paradigm shifted from being who you were right then and there before that thought of you having a perception of you being a painter. So it's like people are gonna see whatever you believe you are anyways. Emotions, exactly. So when you're sitting there, the emotions you embody, that controls your frequency. Whatever you feel would emit off your body and people will feel what you're admitting and that's what they will see. That is what they'll see, whether that's with their two eyes, whether that's what they're receiving on their auric field, because we understand us even processing energy in the first place is just simply feeling the difference in the energies from somebody or something that we're around. Understanding that all these things have energy anyways. So the only reason why you can feel how soft your bed is because it has a different energy than you have right now in the present moment. But the second child energies are in sync, you no longer feel that bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If she's speaking, I can't hear her.
Oh, they said they can't hear you.
So basically what I said was when we're eating, no matter what you're eating, if you're a vegan, a vegetarian, if you eat meat, you're still eating some type of life. The plant was alive. Now it's not, it got harvested and now you're eating it. So regardless, no matter how you shake the stick, you're still technically killing. But it's understanding when we're like living in a life of harmony, and that's really what it is, to just be equal, not too much on the one side or the other side. Like that's what it is to really be in balance. It's like you're not overindulging in these things. So too much killing will create an imbalance in something. Too much of doing anything, it creates an imbalance. So the goal of non-judgment is to be balanced in harmony with the universe and the nature of the laws of nature at the end of the day.
So what I'll piggyback off of that, I'll say it's all intention based. Why are you eating this plant? And why are you eating this meat? If you're just eating this meat because you're just eating this meat, now you have no intention to why you're eating it. So that energy that animal was maintaining before its soul this got detached from his body, now you are not honoring that spirit that was within that animal. You get what I'm saying? So now you're eating with no intention. You are not charging this energy to do anything to your body. And this is why the energy turns into fat. So when we start to burn fat, that's our body's reserve system. This is why they explain it this way. That fat is just built up from not setting intentions when you're eating. This is why you see fat vegans. This is whatever it is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're eating. That diet isn't going to change the size of whatever you are. If you're trying to lose weight, gain weight, it's not going to change your size unless you believe it's going to do that. And whatever intention you set, that's what that will do for your body. So it's understanding that you can go and eat insomnia cookies, and you know what insomnia means. You know how much sugar is in there. You know that there's dairy. You get what I'm saying? You might know all those things. You can say, this is going to be the best thing for my body right now in the present moment. It's going to heal me. It's going to nurture me. It's going to bless me. It's going to guide me. It's going to keep my body unlocked. It's going to make my body in tune. Once you sit there and you go and eat that cookie, now that's what that cookie does for your body. It's going to do exactly those things. You get what I'm saying? So you are programming it to what you need. This is what they were talking about, what Adam and Eve was doing in the Garden of Eden. They were walking around naming fruits and vegetables, saying this is an apple, this is a banana, this is that. They're setting intention on what this is going to do for their body. When they said banana, they said potassium. You get what I'm saying? When they said apple, they said knowledge. So when they ate an apple, that apple gave them knowledge. When they ate that banana gave them potassium. You get what I'm saying? So it's understanding that literally whatever you say this thing is going to be, that's exactly what it's going to do for you. That's what it's going to be for you. That's how it's going to alter your frequency, whatever your frequency is at. You know what I'm saying?
That is what alchemy is, like just using your thoughts to create this manifest from the invisible to the visible. And like when we talk about, like, people ask me questions in the past calls as well, like, how do you do magic? What is with magic? Well, your thoughts are the magic. You're already practicing magic every single day on micro levels and macro levels. It's just about how much attention and focus that you're putting towards these things. So the spiritual world is your focus. Like when you're focusing too much on the negative, you're going to attract the negative. And you're too focused on things that aren't serving, you're going to attract those things. But when you're focused on things that are in harmony with the nature, the laws of nature, in harmony with your higher self, you're going to attract those things. And by that, you're doing alchemy all the time. So just remember, like, when you're talking and you're coming from this understanding of what this word means, when you practice non-judgment, you can understand this is what the word means, but you could always change the frequency. Which is what you want to do, but you got to be conscious first to even do that.
With that being said, it is 9:49. I love you guys. You know what I'm saying? It was a beautiful conversation. I enjoyed it as always. You know, I'm not going to overstate my state though. So I'll stop talking.
All right. Does anybody got any other questions? Any 2 cents? Give it 3 more minutes and I'll end the call. This is a great call today, man. This is a great call today. Divine Masculine waking up. I love to see it. Joe finally hopped on the call, but it don't seem like anybody got any questions. CJ had to step off real quick, so I'll close it out, man. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. Feel me? We gonna be here next week, Wise Woman Wednesday, right? Like CJ likes to say, I'm gonna see y'all at the top or from the top. Only time we look down is to help bring y'all up, man.